Todd McCall, sitting here with Advanced Hoops Director Charlie Fortney. Charlie, I think it was about 1999-2000, Susquehanna Township takes on Harrisburg Christian in a Shippensburg tournament. Well, I feel you're instrumental in putting Harrisburg Christian on the map. I want you to know that. But it was shortly thereafter, about 2001, you had this idea of using your gifts a different direction, Advanced Hoops. So talk a little bit about how today, that's 13 years later, you started what has become really a great staple here in the capital area. And how'd you talk Ms. Fortney into it?
Well, Advanced Hoops actually happened just by a series of events. I mean, Todd, like you and like a lot of the coaches in the area, my goal was to just be a high school basketball coach and maybe eventually coach college basketball. So I had the same dreams and goals of everybody else. But I think what happened with me, and I knew I had to get my teaching degree, and leaving Harrisburg Christian was a part of that process. I was offered by a public school a chance to get my teaching degree while being a teacher on an emergency certification. So as that process was playing out, I still wanted to keep coaching kids, so I started doing one-on-ones, small group training, and I think what I found over a couple of years is a snowball started building of families and kids that needed this kind of support, training on the side, working on their shooting, ball handling, and just skill areas of the game that might be missed when you're just playing on a team. And then being a former high school coach, I saw the benefit of a program like this complementing high school coaches, getting kids in the gym. And so putting all that together, the program started building from there.
Charlie, you played Division I basketball, and I noticed you picked the warmer climates to play your college basketball career.
That's where the Carolina Blue comes
That's right. So you're playing Division I basketball. You go on to be a coach, but you also played in the NBA Developmental League, and I remember many times here in the area, in the Harrisburg Hammerheads that you played for. But more importantly, Charlie, you're a family man. Family comes first. When did you sit down with your family and envision that this Advanced Hoops going on to be 13 years, 1,000 players, 36 AAU teams, and the development of players, both character and I would say offensively, defensively? Where did you ever see that type of full development come together in 13 years, and how did you envision it today?
Actually, it wasn't until about 2005, 2006 that I actually realized, I can do this full time. I was actually 4 or 5 years into developing the program, Advanced Hoops. I was still working toward coaching at a high school. I assisted at Central Dauphin and I was assistant coach at Penn State Harrisburg under Kurt Ream. So I stayed involved in the game. But basically, the game is all about mentorship, not just coaches to players, but other coaches to other coaches. And a coach who's currently coaching this area that I have a lot of respect for stopped me in my tracks one day. Right around 2005, 2006. I was talking to him about coaching at a local high school, applying for a local job, and he said, "I don't know why you would do that." He said, "Because you're in a great position right now in influencing kids from all schools all over the region." And he says, guys like me envy that. We would like to have that influence, and that seems to fit more your gift areas, Charlie. And the day that coach, who I look up to a lot, made that statement, he has over 500 plus wins, it hit me that he's right. I don't have to be another coach that needs to win a conference or win a league. But I'm winning by using my gifts. I'm teaching a kid how to shoot a ball. The triple threat, which is a staple of my teaching and my game and players I've coached. Just to have a program like this for the area, there's some significance in that. And that day, I think I fell into some peace. It fit my family dynamic. We have 6 kids. I want to spend time with them. A lot of people don't know that. I got a starting 5 and a sub off the bench. But Advanced Hoops fit all those needs.
So are you grooming little Charlie to take over Advanced Hoops to wear the Carolina Blue collars? Is he ready to be the next CEO of Advanced Hoops?
Oh, I don't know. He was a wrestler for a couple of years now. He's 9 years old, and he's really liking basketball. So we'll see. But he loves doing those commercials, that's for sure.
Charlie, coaches develop a philosophy. Even at home, I know your family knows you have a philosophy on how you govern your home. I walk into the gym here at Advanced Hoops, and one of the first things I see is a board with fundamental principles. Things that I know as a coach I talked about 1,000 times. Square up to the basket. Dribbling baseline causes turnovers. Can you talk a little bit about how that has advanced players? It's helped coaches in the capital area with these specific directions that you give here at Advanced Hoops.
Yeah, the 5-on-5 instructional piece in our program is one of those programs that came as the program built. And it was, again, it was just based on feedback from parents and our coaches that we wanted to get some time with the kids after teaching them how to shoot, after working on their ball handling confidence, their point guard skills. We wanted to see them in the 5-on-5 setting. So we came up with 9 rules that focus on fundamental aspects of the game. We even have spacing boxes for the kids on the court. You know, as coach, you want the kids spacing is a big thing, moving without the ball, catching and facing in the triple threat position. So that part of the program evolved out of necessity to try to teach kids how to become more fundamental and more confident with their shooting in the 5-on-5 setting. Because one of our rules is if a player catches it and they're open and they don't shoot it, it's a turnover. We will give the ball to the other team. So we found that this 5-on-5 instructional system has worked for anywhere from 5th grade all the way up to 12th graders. We do it with our top players in our program and even the younger players, because at every level, players need to clean up that part of their game, clean up the fundamentals. And it's revolutionized our entire program. We have a 5-on-5 instructional program that's very popular in every age group, boys and girls. That happens in the spring, but the fall is probably the biggest time of the year to get them ready for the season.
For people at home, a player can get individual direction, personal time, shot workouts, things like that, and then the 5-on-5, that philosophy is where you start seeing some of their principles come together on your 5-on-5 play.
Correct. I think a lot of kids just like playing the game. We all know that, and they want to play AAU basketball. They want to play on a team, and so the 5-on-5 is our way of saying, okay, if you really want to do that, we're going to do it. But we're going to do it, and we're going to make you a better IQ player. We're going to teach you better principles of the game. We don't run plays in that setting, but it's principles, and like you said, it's like your eyes lit up when you saw it. I mean, coaches that I know that have been in our gym, you look at the principles and say, absolutely, those are complementing what I'm doing with my program. So that's the goal, is to make sure we help the players become more fundamental. But in that setting, it allows us to coach the kids to be more confident, taking it to the basket, taking that shot. It's one thing to make a kid a better shooter in a workout, and that happens. Kids will get better if you're practicing your game. You have any kind of instruction, you're going to get better. But to be able to do that in a game, and to bring it out in a game-like setting, that's what those in-house 5-on-5 game instructions are all about.
Well, let's talk about aiding in recruitment. Let's talk about the big wave of the big country, the big men in the last 5, 6, 7 years. You have really been instrumental, and your program has been instrumental in developing these guys. Guys like Scotty Etherton at Northeastern, Mike Sangari at East Carolina, Ryan Hill at Bucknell. Where has Advanced Hoops come into play? Because there was many aspects, from the recruiting to becoming a better player. Can you talk a little bit about how you've had some direction in this and what Advanced Hoops has done to make these players better at the next level?
Well, for every player it's different, because some players have a need to work on their shot. Some players have a need to get on like an AAU showcase team to get out in front of college coaches. So our program has been able to provide all the aspects or some of the aspects. And with those players, we've been fortunate to be involved in all the different ways, because the goal for Advanced Hoops players in the end is that we can be in a situation where we can help a kid get recruited and get a scholarship to go play college basketball and get an education. And all those players represent that. But the workouts, guys like Scotty Etherton, the work ethic he has. I mean, walking into our program in 10th grade and learning how to shoot from outside and being able to embrace all those fundamentals, that's one thing. But then to go and work as hard as he did, hats off to the Hershey coaches for all they did with Scotty. But players like him, like a Mike Sangari, like a Matt Banis, like a Ryan Hill, and the list goes on, Logan Stumps. It's been the time in the gym. That's the difference between those players. Because we've had a lot of players walk in the gym that are high-level players and novice players. But the ones that get better, the ones that exceed the expectation, are the ones that are willing to take and put that extra time in. And that gives you satisfaction as a coach.
Totally. Let's talk. You and I both were players in high school in the 80s.
Yep.
The shorts up to here, socks to our knees.
Tight
We
shorts.
remember some that you wore in particular. But there wasn't really anything like that. And I can think even in my own playing career, the in-between type player is what best describes me. Can you talk about, I like the human interest stories of Advanced Hoops.
Yeah.
Can you go back to all your 13 years and think about those couple players who walked through your door who maybe didn't have exactly the confidence, or they didn't have, maybe they're the ninth man coming to their team, maybe they're not getting moved up. You know, how has that development happened? And let's just focus in on one of those human interest stories.
Well, the first person I'm thinking of right now is a player named Colin Farnham. Plays at Wilkes University.
Know him well.
Played for a coach that I have a lot of respect for, Bob Strickler from Mechanicsburg. Very good high school coach. And Bob will tell you, I'll tell you, Colin's dad will tell you that Colin wasn't in 7th or 8th grade a player you would have thought would have been an impact player in high school basketball. You wouldn't have thought this kid had a shot at playing any kind of college basketball. And I'll be surprised. I run Advanced Hoops. I've had hundreds of players come through my program, and over 70 players probably right now, boys and girls, playing college basketball. This player right here surprised me with his work ethic. Every year that he played basketball, he exceeded the expectations. And as a junior and senior at Mechanicsburg, to have high school teams playing him a box and one, just to try to keep him down because he was that big of a threat that he could beat you by himself. Testament to work ethic. 5'8", 5'9".
Moving on, Charlie, let's talk a little bit about some of your influences. I mean, you played against many great players, but more importantly, your upbringing as a player through those years. Where did you get your start? Who were those people that helped foster that gift in you?
Yeah, much of what I teach at Advanced Hoops in the philosophy of work ethic, I have to give credit to like a Jeff Lebo, Dave Lebo.
Was it that he blocked your shot or tore you up?
No. Actually, I never really had a chance to play against him.
Right.
I was a little younger than Jeff, but as a 5th through 8th grader, getting to every one of his high school games and seeing him play, even though Carlisle was, not necessarily my alma mater or anything, but just hearing him speak at camps, hearing him lay out his personal work ethic was huge influence on me. But I have to go, my start came as a 4th grader. I had a 4th grade season in the CYO where I was made fun of because I was very clumsy, very uncoordinated, and a female basketball player was working out at the local court every single day. And I felt like I needed somebody to help me out, somebody to teach me the game. She took me under her wing and went ahead and taught me ball handling, shooting. I have a love for girls basketball because I got my start through that lady who took time to teach me as a 9-year-old. It taught me a work ethic. And the next year I was the leading scorer on my basketball team in that one off season of just good instruction.
So she's first on your Christmas card list. You need to send her one. You know, a female basketball player took time when you were in 4th grade that's still been something that sits with you. The advancement of females in general in our area, basketball and the girls' game. Can you talk a little bit about special players that we have now that we're watching, girls from the past?
You know, the Kelly Jaycott sophomores that has major college recruiters just coming to the Cumberland Valley to see her play, and the girls that come to the Valley are tourists and all those girls, and girls that I've had a chance to be involved with in a training setting as well. Girls like Allie Daly, who's scored 1,000 points at St. Francis. Now she's coaching at the college level, Division I coach. And recently, in the last couple of years, Victoria Blackburn, Jackie Faulkner, who's playing at Penn right now. Victoria's over at Sacred Heart. Brianna Sire, Brianna Mack, playing in Maryland in Division I. This year, I had a chance to spend a lot of time with two of the area's most talented players, Meg Smith from Wes Perry is going to probably score close to 2,000 points in her high school career this year. Carly Richardson, probably from Palmyra, the most all-around leader, girl with work ethic, skills, probably the pure role model of the game that we've been fortunate enough to spend time coaching and getting to know over the last so many years.
Another player that I feel like is so underrated is having a tremendous year. She worked so hard in the off season is Danielle Atkinson from Lancaster Catholic. She's leading her team tremendously right now. There's not a weakness in her game. Danielle can pretty much do anything on the court, and she's very deceptive, plays at a higher level than she's perceived to play at, and colleges are starting to notice, the area is starting to notice, and she's on a roll. And I see great things in store for her future.
In 13 years, can you talk a little bit about the relationship that you have started to develop, you and your staff, with area coaches? I mean, it's been very instrumental in a lot of things in our capital area, but can you talk about how that's developed over time?
Yeah, and I think we both coached high school ball. I had a 4-year stint as a head coach and a couple years as assistant. But when you're a high school coach, these are your kids. You feel responsible for everything you recommend.
Yeah.
And you got to make a good recommendation, especially in the climate of protect youth sports, protect kids, protect families, and influences on kids. So I walked into this very sensitive, knowing the job and how hard the job is of a high school coach. So Advanced Hoops, as philosophy and everything we do, is centered around trying to complement what the high school coaches are doing with those kids. And the coaches have received this pretty well. And I think we're at a point now where we have strong buy-in for aspects of our program. And some coaches in schools utilize our program in different ways than others based on their needs.
Right.
And not every school has the same quartet of an arsenal of players where they can create quality open gyms to do quality 5-on-5s, or they may not have, some coaches tell me, look, I don't deal with shooting, can you help a couple of these kids with shooting? That's fine, So I think if our program continues to provide the opportunities for kids, I think, and continues to take that relationship and put it in the right perspective, area coaches will continue to grow with us and respect what we're doing. And I think we have to keep doing a good job in that relationship. I think the biggest thing we do is we provide quality showcase basketball for the boys and girls at the highest level that the coaches can count on. That if we say we're going to get to those tournaments, we get to those tournaments. And we're able to plug those kids into the coaches' database and to get them contacted, colleges contacting them, and help that ball rolling, because not every high school coach has the experience or the resources, or they're not doing that on a regular basis like we are. So if we can bring those contacts and help bring college connections to and evaluations to these high school kids, that's helping them. So we hope that that's one of the biggest things we can bring to the table.
As an observer on the outside looking in, those are some of the things I've seen you and your staff develop. But you keep mentioning the word relationship, and it's important in Advanced Hoops. But how about the relationship between Advanced Hoops and High School Sports Live, how it's really just fostered it over this last 5 years? I mean, big, crazy cheering sections, enthusiastic players wanting to play a little bit on TV, getting that opportunity. Can you talk about that direction, where that's going, and what the forecast for this upcoming year continually be?
Well, and I'm a believer that in this area, we have some of the best high school sports in the country.
Right.
And we definitely have some of the best high school sports in the state. When you look at basketball, there might be one conference or two in the state that might be considered better than our area. We put a lot of teams in state finals, district championships, and all that kind of stuff. But so that needs to be showcased. And High School Sports Live is to bring exposure to these student athletes and these coaches that are working really hard. And so I'm proud to have initiated it. I'm proud to have partnered with the 27 News and now the Patriot News and these Sentinel, and to help build the promotion. And Todd, you've been a big part of that. And as we're moving into York this year, and we see that expanding into Lancaster the following year, I think it's appropriate. And I'm proud that we moved into wrestling and football because, again, wrestling, we're the best in the country. Central Pennsylvania is the best in the country in wrestling. Why not put it on TV? And naturally, that's been a one step at a time process. One player last year got a Division I scholarship from the High School Sports Live link. They sent it to the coach at the college, and they offered him a full scholarship from that link, from what the parent had shared with us. And naturally, with NCAA regulations and all that, you got to be careful about how you present that. But for the most part, what an opportunity that local colleges, even 1 hour away, can be watching the games and recruiting players from the broadcast, and they don't even have to get out to the games.
Exactly.
It's an asset.
Yeah. Let's talk. You're watching it at home, and you're like, okay, sign me up. I'm ready to go. I don't have any players at home, unfortunately. But how does a young man, a young woman get signed up? I know you have individual classes, skill building, then you have the AAU component. Where do they go? What do they need to do to get signed up?
Well, we have a full-time staff at Advanced Hoops. I mean, guys like Ben Dudek, who have last 5 years have been with the program, has done a tremendous job in building our girls program, taking it to another level. Helps a great shooting instructor. Just has a great rapport with families in the program, and organizational skills has helped take the program to another level. We mentioned Gerald Jarman earlier and his ability to teach point guards, coaches like Scott Richardson, Aaron Yancey.
And Mike Pilsitz, who won a state championship at Steel High, does a really good job pushing players. And a new addition is John Breeden, former Division I point guard at Siena, currently playing some semi-professional basketball, in the gym a lot with the kids, and just a great addition to our staff.
You had 36 AAU basketball teams. Let's talk how that aids in the recruiting, how it gets players to the next level. How do you see that affecting or helping kids in the future?
Well, AAU basketball doesn't just help college recruiting, because a lot of kids that play AAU they do it to get competition, and they do it to get the playing experience they need to possibly make their team or whatever. So that'll continue, and that'll grow as the need is there and as the demand is there.
And I am excited, Todd, that we have organized our AAU this year into national showcase level teams that are going to be powered by Under Armour. We're really excited about that, to get the confidence in that organization, to get access to invite-only Under Armour tournaments, tournaments you can't get into unless you have that relationship, and then also gold level and silver level for 5th through 8th grade kids that want to play either regional or across the Mid-Atlantic. And along those lines, Todd, I have engaged recently with Sam Sutton from York area. He runs an AAU program called All Sports Ren, and he's recently been hired by my program to do advanced hoops in York. Sam and I are going to be partnering to take advanced hoops training to York, and on the AAU side of things, partnering to bring the All Sports Ren AAU and the Advanced Hoops AAU together so that we can combine our efforts to expand our reach and putting elite level high school boys and high school girls teams on the floor to represent not only York or Harrisburg, but the entire region, Lancaster, and greater Pennsylvania at a higher level.
A 7th grade boy or girl comes into you and says, Coach Fortney, I've been cut from my team, but I think I have an opportunity to make it next year.
Yeah.
I need some shot help. I need to be able to put the ball in the hole. Can I take you inside that conversation with maybe where you direct them?
Well, first off, that player may think shooting is their ticket to making the team. But I think in most cases, players don't make teams because there's more that needs to be done.
Right.
To become a better athlete. And Rob Kennedy at Hoop Group talks about this. You need to become 1/3 of your time should be focused on becoming a better athlete. Strength training, quickness, agility.
Okay.
1/3 should be on competitive game experience, which we can provide through instruction and 5-on-5s and AAU. And the other third needs to be heavy skill focused.
When does your over 40 league start? I'm going to go on the record to give Mr. Fortney Sr. some credit. He has toolboxes. Your dad can pull out hammers, wrenches, and fix anything. Advanced hoops. If I was to ask you to pull 3 things out of that big toolbox to end on,
Yeah.
when you're reaching into the toolbox of advanced hoops, what are those 3 major components, or even one major component that comes out of that toolbox?
Well, a couple I'm thinking of right now is the ability to use the triple threat, the jab. The offensive footwork is very inconsistent with kids I see all over the area.
Right.
And even college
test,
kids.
yeah.
The mid-range game, to be able to shoot off the dribble. So the footwork aspect of it is huge, and I think we excel at that, and that mirrors my background as a player. That was what I excelled at. Also, balance and fundamental shooting. The basketball, our shooting development has spoken for itself. The number of kids that are considered tremendous shooters over the years have spent significant time with us. There's many Thanksgiving mornings where I got that text from that high school player, my shot's off, and we met before Thanksgiving meal just to get them ready for their next game. That's the kind of thing that drives me as a developmental coach.
Right.
And then thirdly, I would say guiding families with the right mentality. There's a lot of players and families that come thinking the grass is greener on the other side,
Right, yeah.
or they may not understand the recruiting process, they may not understand their high school coach's methods, or to be able to bring them back down to earth, to say you're doing the right thing, or you're in the right place, or you just need to keep working harder, or do this, that, or the other. To give them guidance is probably something that we do on a regular basis to help them understand the process and support maybe what their current grassroots high school program's doing. Brings us a lot of joy to be able to be a part of that process.
Right.